So, just diving straight into it. So, I just really wanted to get into like a little bit more about the celestial room because right now I'm outside the celestial room, and I've been outside the celestial room for like a week or so, 4 days, 3 days, since Saturday. Yeah, since Saturday. So, I've just like I do what I usually do, and I don't rely on it. But it was interesting. Like I just kind of like played with the numbers and just a bunch of evanescent love stuff, and it's just I don't know. It just seems like there's some interesting technical difficulties there. So like, oh, just going back to the celestial room. Like, I didn't really make. Of course, I didn't really make any more keys because there's only one key. And what I did is I left it. I actually did something that because I know about it, and I know its connection with the Xylem Blend. So I just kind of well, it never I knew it like the thing is I take responsibility for the celestial room, meaning like it's my celestial room that I created, and it's just been open for months because it's just obviously it's very useful, but and it's not like not being in the celestial room allows me to be like not aware of it, but it's just the fact that the celestial room, I mean, does have a lot of entities on the celestial level, and it ultimately shouldn't be restricted to a 75 diameter sphere or 75-mile radius sphere, and all I have to do is expand it, and so it was actually what happened is it went on for way too long. Now that I think about it, in that frame span, because there's a level of mastery I think where there's now the ability to create more celestial rooms, but once again that was something that happened just like I think it was November or something, and it just became it became a workplace, and I became so ingrained in it that it just became what it is. It just became the aspects of higher vibrations, or it just became the aspect of vibrations at that state, and it's just a state of mind that or it's just it's a room with all those capabilities and abilities that just emanates what it is, and there's nothing more than just the celestial room. There's only one celestial room in that 75-mile diameter, which I didn't give the exact location to, but I gave like the location for it, and that's just it was really really ultimately in a way a preliminary. But there's a lot of major things that we learned and returned to our higher self sort of thing, but it's just not a lot of there's not a lot of flexibility in the newness of the room. And so enough about the room, just more into the new room. So obviously there's going to be new rooms, new celestial rooms and absolute rooms and supreme rooms, just at higher vibrational levels, because I feel like anything else is just I feel like not creating such a scenario or such a room, or not creating a vibrational body, I feel like I now have mastered the awareness of um what it could be, meaning like the ability to manifest it again. But more specifically, like manifesting in general, it doesn't have to just manifest in the celestial room, and manifesting and imagination through creation realms in general does not have to be limited to, the things on Gaia, and it doesn't have to be limited to material items, and it doesn't have to be limited to the previous just habitual languages that we form. Like, I feel like, I don't know, dude, I'm gonna find out, but I feel like there's lots of multi-creationalistical forms that are personified in speech but aren't really, translated or just like intaken well because of, I think, because of being outside the celestial room and not realizing that there's something more than the celestial room. And in a way, I was kind of relying on the environment too much. Relying on the environment as just a regular being rather than a responsible being who created a celestial room. I was just walking around the celestial room. I was just, you know, I mean, there's more than that, but there's a lot of magical words that can be used, and the thing is, it's there have been like strange, like personally inner weird things. I don't even know how to describe it, but like inner. I don't even know how to describe it. There's like some type of mechanism that occurs in the body. Some type of response. There we go. Some type of response that happens in the body that has occurred since the celestial room. Since the room's been created, so So, I guess it's just that, I'm pretty stoked about the newness of it. Just like the new celestial room, just a new supreme room, new absolute room, scattered throughout the planet. There's things that could be done better, but like that. Okay, let's be real. Like, of course, yes, there's a lot of glory and a lot of good news and a lot of progress that has been made in the celestial room. And I bring that up today because I'm so used to relying on it, and I've realized I've built up habits that, oh goodness gracious, I've built up habits that have to do with the celestial room's existence, or just the celestial room's presence. And that's the thing, just working with the presence of the celestial room being in somebody's reality, being in our reality, it just opens the mind to, just the awakening of, like, who we are. So, but I don't know what else to say, because I did that I used the celestial room, and I did that, and I like mastered, like, all those previous whatever it's called. I mean, I have no idea how else to say how to, like, upgrade the celestial traffic work, because to be honest, it's a lot of work. It took like as in work, there's a lot of beings involved, and just being in tune with those beings. I mean, it's kind of like a weird process, and there's nothing to worry about. But that's the thing that we just need to remember. There's really nothing to be concerned about, and that's because this is not the first. Obviously, this is not the first celestial room. This is like the second, if you want to get technical, but it's like the second overall mastery understanding that like these kind of things are possible. So it's just like 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those are the days of major transformation. So it's 3 days until then. So like think about that. It's just gives you an idea. I mean, that's what's all culminating, And that's what it's all about. Well, I mean, not all about, but there's a major astrological event on in that time period, and it's important that we know that. And this is a retrograde month too for a lot of planets. So, oops.